Let's explore the HTML ID attribute. You can use the ID attribute to uniquely identify HTML elements. This is useful for styling, JavaScript manipulation, and navigation within your web pages. What exactly is the ID attribute? Well, it serves as a unique identifier for HTML elements. It's crucial that each ID you use within a document is unique. Also, IDs are case-sensitive, so my ID is different from myid. An ID cannot start with a number, and it cannot contain spaces. Here are some examples of how to use the ID attribute in HTML. You can see we're assigning ID values such as header, intro, and submit btn to various HTML elements like a div, a paragraph, and a button. These IDs allow us to target these specific elements for styling or scripting. Now let's see how to use the ID for CSS styling. First, look at the HTML code. We have an H1 heading with the ID main title, a paragraph with the ID intro text, and a div with the ID special box. Now in CSS, we can target these elements using the hashtag symbol followed by the ID name. For example, hashtag main title allows us to style the heading, hashtag intro text styles the paragraph, and hashtag special box styles the div. Remember that ID selectors have higher specificity than class selectors, so they will take precedence if there are conflicting styles. Let's explore how to use the ID for JavaScript manipulation. With JavaScript, you can access HTML elements using the document.getElementById method, passing the ID of the element you want to target. For example, to access the element with the ID main title, you would use document.getElementById main title. Once you have the element, you can change its content, modify its styles, or add event listeners. As you can see in the example, we're changing the text content of the H1 element, modifying its color, and adding a click event listener to a button with the ID submit btn. Keep in mind that getElementById is generally faster than other document object model selection methods like querySelector. Another useful application of the ID attribute is for page navigation. You can create page bookmarks by assigning ID attributes to different sections of your page. Then, you can link to these specific sections using hashtag, followed by the ID name in your URLs. This allows users to jump directly to specific parts of a long page, improving the overall user experience. For example, in the code snippet, we have a navigation menu with links to Section 1, Section 2, and Section 3. When a user clicks on these links, the page will scroll to the corresponding section with the matching ID. It's important to understand the difference between ID and class attributes in HTML. The key difference is that IDs must be unique within a document, while classes can be reused on multiple elements. ID selectors also have higher specificity in CSS compared to class selectors. IDs are typically used for unique elements or for JavaScript manipulation, while classes are used for styling groups of elements. Also, ID can be used for page navigation, but class cannot be used for navigation. As a best practice, use classes for styling and IDs for JavaScript manipulation and navigation. Let's discuss some best practices for using ID attributes. First, use descriptive names that clearly indicate the element's purpose, such as main header, user profile, or contact form. Follow a consistent naming convention, like camel case or kebab case. Ensure that each ID is unique within the document to avoid JavaScript errors and validation failures. Use IDs selectively for unique elements that need JavaScript interaction or navigation anchors, and prefer classes for styling. Some common mistakes to avoid are using the same ID multiple times in a document, starting ID names with numbers or special characters, using spaces in ID names, and overusing IDs for styling when classes would be more appropriate. Let's quickly summarize what we have learned about the HTML ID attribute. The ID attribute provides a unique identification for HTML elements within a document. They are used for CSS styling, JavaScript manipulation, and page navigation. Remember to use descriptive names, ensure uniqueness, follow naming conventions, and use IDs selectively for unique elements. As a next step, learn about HTML forms, accessibility attributes, and how to combine ID with ARIA roles for better web accessibility. If you like this video, hit that like button and don't forget to subscribe. Visit codelucky.com for more such useful content.